Good morning. Now we're on the we're past the middle of the Rebbe's, Lubavitcher Rebbe's Hasidic discourse, which is called Tetzaveh. It's the last one that he distributed before he had a stroke and he wasn't able to speak. And here it is. This is the directions for our generation. So the Rebbe explains what is really a Jewish leader and what's the job of a Jewish leader. The job of the Jewish leader is to make Jews aware of what God is. Not what people think God is. In fact, it's above any thought. It's a personal feeling that a person can only experience himself. But there has to be a leader that directs him to this feeling, and the feeling is inside. In English, it's called faith. And when faith is sort of not really the proper word, even though that's what it looks like from the outside. Faith, but here is a different thing. It's a feeling of and that God is creating me, and that God, the same God is creating me, is the same God who gave the Torah to the Jews and who gives the Torah every instant brand new, just like He's creating me every instant brand new. So when a person feels that his whole being really comes from God, so he gets more excited about God than he gets, let's say, about money or his soccer team or his family or things that usually make a person excited. So that's called happiness also. It's called happiness. It's not your usual type of religion. Usually a person that's religious, as the religion does not make him happy. Maybe he's happy when he's together with a bunch of people and they're all singing and they're all dancing or whatever they do, but usually religion is a very serious, quiet business. You know, the priests are people who fast, they're very austere, very distant. But in Judaism, ideally it's not so. A person who feels Hashem it could be that he's very austere. It could be the person is very, very holy, and he doesn't go around telling jokes and laughing on the streets or whatever. But the essence of Judaism is happiness, that a person feels a feeling of well-being. And there were even people in Auschwitz, in the concentration camps, and in the worst possible situations, and they were totally alone. But their Judaism made them happy, like King David. King David was an example. He was hated by everybody. He was a king, but everybody hated him. His son Absalom took over the whole world, the whole country, and everyone was against David. And they wanted to kill him. And David HaMelech, King David said, nevertheless, Sas anochi al imrosecha kamotze shel rab. I'm happy with your commandments, like I found a huge treasure. Right, a person he finds a huge treasure, even if he's totally alone in the middle of the desert somewhere. He finds a huge treasure. All of a sudden, goes into a cave and there's a whole treasure. He's happy, even though he's totally alone, even though everybody's against him. He finds this treasure for a second. At least he's happy because he's found the treasure. How much more so if you find the treasure is you yourself. You yourself are the treasure that God is creating you because you're so precious and you're so important. But a Jew only reveals this and really brings it out when? In the time of exile, when he realizes that he has a duty to fulfill and a responsibility, and which is general of all human beings. When a person feels that he has a purpose and a meaning and a responsibility in life, so he feels a purpose. There's people that they go into they put on they get inducted into the army, and they put on a uniform. They just put on a uniform, it makes them feel good. They're part of the army, and now they have a responsibility. They have a job. They're being counted on. They're important. All of a sudden, there's meaning in their life. They're happy. They stand straight and they're happy. They have a smile. That's if they believe in the cause that the army stands for. So the same thing is with the Jew. The purpose of Moses in every generation, and every generation must have as Moses, is to make the Jews feel their true identity, their true purpose, and their responsibility. What is the true responsibility of a Jew? To get rid of the exile, the galus. What is galus? Galus is when Jews, or anybody in the world, does not feel godliness. But let's begin with the Jews. A Jew, if Jews do not feel godliness and Jews do not act according to what God wants, that's called exile. It doesn't make any difference where you are. You could be in Israel, you could be in Jerusalem, you could be the prime minister of Israel, sit in the heart of Jerusalem. But nevertheless, that's called exile. Maybe that's the deepest exile there's ever been. So, the Jewish people are supposed to be broken because there's the exile. And this brokenness, what does it mean? It means we have a tremendous job to do. Not that they're broken and they give up. No, they're broken because they know, and they can't stop working. They know that the job is not finished. Right. Okay. So you can learn a big lesson from that. I hear there's something in back of me that's going. So I figured, is it coming from outside? It's really annoying, and it's really annoying. I thought, what is it? Maybe some young person is making noise outside. I said, what is this noise? Where could it be coming from? And look, what the noise is that every time I move, the chair rubs against the metal part that's here. And it goes. So it means the majority of troubles that people have are caused by the person themselves. The person himself makes his own troubles. I'm making it. Okay. We're now on page Reish Pei Dalet, right? Yes. Okay, so Jewish people are supposed to be broken and crushed from the fact that we are now in exile. The Inyan who? The Inyan is like this. Tazesh Yisrael, that which the Jews. Haim are.
Robert, we did this yesterday.
Oh, we did? One second.
Rosh Pei Hei Veyesh Loimo.
Oh yeah? Oh, that's where we are? We're in Yud?
In Yud.
Oh, that's, of course, yes. Good. That's right. That a Jew has to want revealed godliness, as is known that the first Rebbe of Chabad used to say, I don't want heaven, I don't want any of your revelations, God, I want you alone. Right? And that's what every Jew should feel. I want to feel God himself. And this comes from the essence of the soul. Yud. Yesh Lomer, we can say, Shebechinat HaMa'or, that this level of the light, of the, not just the light, the illuminator, the source of light. The neshama of the Jewish soul, Hamitkalit, which is revealed, Al Yedei, by means of Ha'inyan, this whole topic, this whole idea of being katit, crushed. Mizeh, from this, Shenimseim, that we are found, Begalos, in exile. He is Nalit Yoter, even higher. Mibechinat, from the level Hama'or, of the source of the soul, the essence of the soul, the neshama of the soul, Shemidgalit, which is revealed Al Yedei, by means of Mesirut Nefesh, self-sacrifice. Okay, let's talk about again what we're talking about here. What's it talking about? The job of the Moses of every generation is to make the Jews feel God, yes. But it has to come in a way of action. It has to come in actually the physical world. What's the biggest, contradiction? What's the biggest contradiction to Judaism? Is the creation, the world. What people say about me, what type of money I make, whether if my life is in danger, if everybody's going to laugh at me, to have friends, get a job. These things are things that drive people crazy. And God made it that way. That's the way God made the world. And sometimes, so the job of Moses, usually a person, if he confronts too many difficulties, so he says, that's it, I'm finished. He shaves off his beard, takes off his tzitzis. I thought it would be Judaism, I would be a good life, it would be easy, everything would be okay, and all of a sudden I see it's not so good, right? The communists are after me, and my next door neighbor is after me, and I'm having trouble for my kids, and I can't make money. All this is because I'm a religious Jew. So a person will say, what do I need all this for? And he'll leave it. I was doing it for me anyway. Why was I doing all this stuff? For myself. Moses, the job of Moses is to make you realize that you're doing it for God. You say, I don't understand. Who is this God? God is supposed to be the king of the world, the king of the universe. If he's the king of the universe, then why doesn't he make it a little bit easy for me? A little bit difficult. How can Achashverosh rule the world and make a decree? Stalin, how can he make decrees against the Jews? How can Hitler kill all these Jews? What doesn't make? If God is the king of the universe and this is the way he rules, I don't want anything to do with it. Right? That's a normal way of thinking. That's a normal thing. The Moses of every generation comes and he says, listen, you're right, you got good questions. Your questions are 100% good. Think about who you are. Think maybe it could be that you don't understand what God is. God creates you. You can't understand that. If you do free yourself and say, I'm not going to keep Shabbos, I'm not going to do anything, God is still going to be creating you. It's the same God. How are you going to repay Him for creating you for free? How are you going to repay Him for giving you eyes and nose and mouth? And even if you don't repay Him, He's still going to give you everything you want. He'll give you eyes and nose and mouth, everything you want. Everything is going to work. But you're not going to repay Him? You have no responsibility to the Creator? No responsibility? Nah, no Creator. No nothing, no nothing. It's okay. If that's what you really believe, then good. But it's not the truth. She says, no, it's not the truth. You can do whatever you want, but it's not the truth. Yeah, but I have my first question. If He's really the Creator and He creates everything, then why is things going like this? Why should I worship Him if it's such a terrible world? You've got a good question. Yes. But your job is to serve God even though you have questions. It says, who made that up? It's Abraham, first Jew. That's what he did. No, King David said, I don't like this religion. This is not. I want to be free. I want to do this. Good, okay, but it's not the truth. Of course you don't want to. That's the test. The test is you have to do things that you don't want to do. Mesirat Nefesh means giving your will to the Creator. The Creator has the Torah. That's the job of Moses of every generation. To make Jews feel who they really are and say, okay, everybody can do what they want, but I am going to do the truth. I am going to do the truth. There's a book called Tale of Two Cities. One brother gives his life for the other one. It is a far better thing I do now than I've ever done before what is it? Give me liberty or give me death. People fought for liberty, for truth, for justice. They fought for whatever they fought, but they were willing to die for their cause. What good do you get if you die? It was the truth. I fought for the truth. Right? Here's the same thing. Moshe inspires Jews to feel the truth. Feel what's really there. Not to go to heaven, not to get any rewards. Everybody wants to go to heaven. Everybody wants to get rewards, but that's not the name of the game. The name is to do the truth because it's the truth. Because of the truth. Right? If they tell the President of the United States, listen, you're not going to get paid. We don't have any money. The President of the United States, okay, I want to get paid, but thank God I'm the President of the United States. I have a tremendous job. I'm not going to quit because I don't get paid. The same thing, a Jew connected to the Creator of the universe. That's the job of Moses. So what does Moses do? Moses, the first Moses, what did he do? Convince the Jews that God exists. Don't pay attention to the Egyptians. Leave Egypt. Put yourself in God's hands. Wonderful. Did they have to sacrifice their lives? Not really. A little bit. When they tied the sheep, they took a sheep into their house, and the sheep was the god of the Egyptians. They took the sheep into their house, but the Egyptians had already seen all these plagues and all this, and the Jews they felt that God was with them. The Egyptians were already half destroyed anyway. So, okay, but still, it was a certain degree of self-sacrifice, but not really. Who really brought the Jews to self-sacrifice? Mordechai. 1,000 years later, there was the miracle of Purim. Mordechai really brought all the Jews to self-sacrifice. The decree was to destroy all the Jews. If a person would just say, I'm not Jewish, he wouldn't be in any danger. Nevertheless, not one Jew was willing to say, I'm not Jewish. That was the influence of Mordechai. But then there's even a higher level of self-sacrifice. And that was after the decree of Mordechai. After the decree of Achashverosh. That's when it says that the Jews finally fulfilled the Torah. The Jews finally, when was it? After the decree was finished. After there was no danger. When the Jews were sitting high. That was it when it says that the Jews finally fulfilled the Torah. It says the Rebbe, why? Because they got a big reward, because everybody saw how great they were? No. Because Mordechai had an influence on the Jews to convince them that they should feel bitter about the fact that there's not a Beis HaMikdash, there's not a holy temple, the godliness is not revealed everywhere, the holy temple is not built, we Jews are not back all together in the Holy Land. And that was what he made them feel. The previous Rebbe brought people even to a higher level, because you're going to see in a minute. What Mordechai didn't last very long. It didn't last very long. The fact is, we still are servants of Achashverosh. So we're going to see. Yesh Lomar. So that's what he says. There's there's the level of faith that Moses aroused, the level of faith that Mordechai aroused before the miracle of Purim. The Jews were willing to stand and not leave their Judaism. There was the reveal of the soul, how it was after the miracle of Purim. And then we're going to see there's the revealed godliness, what the previous Rebbe started. We'll see. The revealed faith that the previous Rebbe. We'll see. Okay, so again, let's start from the beginning. We can say that the level of the soul that's revealed by means of being crushed when they're in exile, this is higher than the level of the soul, the essence of the soul, the me'or of the soul, which is revealed by means of self-sacrifice. In other words, the level of the soul revealed by Mordechai after the miracle of Purim was finished and there was no physical danger, this type of self-sacrifice was greater and reached a higher level of the soul than the self-sacrifice that the Jews had when they were under the decree of Haman and no one was willing to deny their Judaism. How can it be higher after the decree? We'll see. The Inyan is like this. May Hatamim, then one of the reasons on this. Sheba Matan Torah, that a Matan Torah Hayasa was. Rak only. Hatchala, the beginning, Hechelu Lazot. Ubiyamei Achashverosh, in the days of Achashverosh. Hayata was. Hakabbalah, the acceptance, Kibula Yehudim. That's when they accepted the Torah. One of the reasons is that what? That 900 years the Jews had to wait to accept the Torah on Purim, who is ki, because Zeh Sheikdimu, that which the Jews preceded. Naaseh tu nishma b'matan Torah. Haya was mipenei, because. Why did the Jewish people say on Matan Torah? Before Matan Torah, they said, we will do and then we'll understand. Right? One of the amazing things that happened right before Matan Torah, the day before Matan Torah, the day before God gave the Torah, Moses said, God's going to give you the Torah. What do you say? You want it? The Jews said, we'll take it, we'll do whatever it says, and then we'll understand it. We'll take the Torah and we'll do what it says. It said that God went around to all the other nations and he said, do you want the Torah? And all of them said, let us hear a little bit about the Torah, what it says. What is this Torah business? And he told each one what they didn't want to hear. One nation, he said, don't kill. They said, we can't take it. Another nation, that they were thieves. God said, don't steal. No, we would like to steal. Another, they were licentious. God said, you can't do whatever you want to sexually. They said, nah, we don't want the Torah. Right? If God would have told the ones that were the licentious ones, don't kill, they would have said, okay, we'll take it. We don't want to kill. We want as many bodies around as we can. We can have a good time. The ones that don't steal, if he would have said, don't be licentious, they would have said, okay, that's all right with us. We like to steal. We don't waste our time having all sorts of parties and things like that. We like stealing. Right? If God would have told them that, right, he told them exactly what they didn't want to hear. So all of them said, we don't want the Torah. He went to the Jews. The Jews knew whatever God would say, there would be troubles. One guy would say, no, I don't want that. I want it. The Jews said, all of them, we'll do it. We're not asking any questions. If we ask questions, there's going to be troubles. We'll do whatever you say, God. God said, this is not normal. A person that's willing to give up all of his desires, all of his nature, all of his urges, just for the Torah. This is my people. Nasev and Ishma. Oh, this is wonderful. This is self-sacrifice. Sacrifice, says the Rebbe, but yes, it's true, it's self-sacrifice. And this was caused by Moses. Moshe was the one who inspired them. But why did the Jewish people say this thing? Why did they say, Na'asev and Ishma? Why? Shekafa aleim. That God, how to say, turned over on them. Har, the mountain of Sinai, ki gigit, like a barrel. God held the mountain over the heads of all the Jews and said, you're going to take the Torah, or am I going to have to crush you, or whatever he was going to do with it? And the Jewish people said, Nasev and Ishma. We'll do it. God will do it, and afterwards we'll understand it. So, that's not just a big miracle. I mean, God put a gun to their head and said, okay, say, Mary had a little lamb, fleece was white as snow, everywhere the man went, lamb was sure to go. Say it. Okay, we'll say it. Mary had a little lamb, oh, that's my people. That's what I like. Anybody would say that. If you would have done it to the non-Jews, you would have also done it. What's the problem? Right? Of course, they said, Nasev and Ishma, we'll do anything you say. Just don't shoot. Put the gun down. Put the gun. God turned the mountain over them like a barrel, it says. Okay, now, it explains in Chassidus that it wasn't really so simple. God didn't really take the mountain. It explains in Chassidut that what God really did is the mountain is referring to love. Is referring to love. It learns it out in a long way. So God showed them such a tremendous amount of love, and they felt the love of God. Suddenly they realized all that God had done for them, and that He had taken them out of Egypt and provided them with bread from heaven and done these miracles, amazing. Now He was about to give them the Torah. They said, okay, we'll do it. They'll do it. It doesn't want, God wasn't really saying, oh, I'm going to kill you. God said, I love you so much. Of course, they couldn't, right? How do you say? Modern education. Educational, what's it called? Pedagogy? Pedagogy? No. Pedagogy. Anyway, whatever it is, the teaching, modern teaching methods, Hashem showed them love. That's the essence of education, is love. Showed them love. Because He showed them love, as they said, oh, this is great, right? Love. We'll take the Torah. If this comes from, if God loves us so much, we'll take the present, right? Take the present. Like sometimes you go over, your grandmother or somebody that really loves you, she bakes you a cake. It tastes terrible. It looks awful. You know it's a failure, but she did it with such love. Oh, this is wonderful, Grandma. Thank you very much. Right, your doctor just told you it's forbidden for you to eat sugar or something like that. You eat the whole thing, right? You say, oh, thank you, Grandma. Right? She said, oh, yeah, she's looking at you. She loves you. She'll do it. Nasa, you do it. Nishma, what's going to happen afterwards? We'll see. The same thing, Hashem said, I'm going to give you the Torah. The Torah was love. But nevertheless, it was Gila Milamayla. Hashem forced it from above. Ubiyamei Achashverosh, in the days of Achashverosh, Hayata was Hakabbalah, the acceptance, Mitzad Atzmam. The Jews accepted their Judaism on their own. Exactly the opposite. What did God show them from above? That Achashverosh was the king of the world. That Haman was about to kill them. A normal person would say, this is what God does. This is what the king of the universe does. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want it. I want like Matan Torah when he gave us the Torah, it was love and it was miracles. That's a good God. That's the type of God I like. Not a type of God that sends us a Haman. What's the type of this is? No, the Jewish people said, we don't care. We love you, God. We're Jews. Oh, very nice. This is what God wanted. Yesh Lomar, we can say, that the faith to Israel of the Jews. Mitzad zeh, from this, Shanashama, that the soul, Shalamayla, from above, Roa sees, Eloku's godliness, like it was in Mount Sinai, Emuna, faith, Shemitzad, that comes, from Siba, a reason. Like at Mount Sinai, right? All the Jews saw God, so they believed. Who it is, Al Derech, like Shikdimu, they preceded Nasa Nishma. Just like when the Jews said, we'll do whatever you say, God, we're not asking any questions, we love you, we are giving our lives for you. This is what the Jews did at Mount Sinai, before Mount Sinai. Na'aseh, we will do. V'nishma, we'll do whatever you say, and then we'll understand it. This comes from seeing God, mitzad, from gilui, a revelation, milamayla, from above. V'zeh, and this, Shebeyamei Achashverosh, in the days of Achashverosh, Hayata was HaKabbalah, the acceptance, mitzad atzmam, that they accepted God on their own, who is ki, because as then nidgaleh was revealed, hayit kashrut, the attachment, be'elokut, to God, shemitzad, from etzem and neshama, the essence of the soul. This is already something that comes from inside. Hayit kashrut, the attachment, atzmit, essential, shemitzad, from etzem mitziutam, the essence of their being. Now, when attachment to God comes from the essence of your being, it doesn't make any difference to you what's going on in the world. All you know is one thing for sure: God exists. That I know. I have a lot of questions. The questions come from the I. I have questions. Good, I have questions. Good. And it could be that the questions are really good questions, right? If God is the king of the world, then why are there Hitlers? Why is that? This is a very good question. And only the Mashiach is going to answer this question. But still, the fact of the matter is it's not an answer. It's a question. Right? It's a question. It's not an answer. Oh, because there's something like Hitler, therefore God doesn't exist. No, that's not a, right? That's an answer already. That's an answer. It's a question. How can there be such a terrible thing as exile? How can there be such a terrible thing as you say, what do you mean? I'll tell you why there's Hitler. Because the Jews didn't do what God wanted. And that's why they got punished. So I got a better question for you. How can it be that Jews don't do what God wants? That's even a better question. Right? How can it be that a Jew, who every Jew is the son of God, and feels deep inside, how can it be that Jews don't do what God wants? What's the answer? We're in exile. That's exile. And I have to do everything possible to make this exile stop. To bring it that every Jew does start to feel godliness. That's the job. And even if you want to say that the Holocaust happened because Jews didn't do Torah and mitzvahs, and which, okay, there's a place to say that. That's it. So what are you supposed to do? Say, see, if you do Torah, you don't do, you're going to get punished? No. What, you want people to get punished? Bring the people to do Torah and mitzvahs. Fix the situation. Bring Jews to, yes, believe in God. So there won't be another bad thing like that, according to your way of thinking. So this, what the Jews believed in God on their own, that there were Jews in Auschwitz that said, Shema Yisrael, that they believed in God, non-religious Jews, that they suddenly believed in, said the Rebbe, that this comes from the essence of their being. No one convinced them, something just made them feel as I'm a Jew. And even more detail, Yesh Lomar, we can say, Shagam, that even, Begilui in the revelation, Etzem and Neshama, of the essence of the soul, Yeshnam, there are, Shnei and Yanim, these two things, the Anal, that were mentioned before. In the essence of the soul, there's also two levels. Gilui, the revelation, Etzem and Neshama, the revelation of the essence of the soul, Be'inyan, in a way of Mesirut Nefesh, in a way of self-sacrifice. There's also, we can say, two levels. Yesh Lomar, we can say, Shebenogea, that relating to Kochot HaGiluyim, the revealed powers of the soul. For instance, your personality, your talents. Who is Kamo, like Davar Nosaf, an additional thing. Ukamo, and like Sharoim Bapol, we can see clearly Bekama Anashim, in a lot of people, that what this thing of self-sacrifice, it's like another trick that they have in their portfolio. But actually, we see actually in many people. What do we have? We have, again, the Rebbe says, there's a thing called self-sacrifice. A Jew is willing to sacrifice his life for God. This is a very, very deep thing. Usually this happens, we see by people who are religious, they believe in God, and they come to a test, right? The church ties them up to a stake and says either kiss this cross or we're going to burn you, right? You see our religion is the right one. We have millions of people. Who are you Jews? Everybody's killing you in this. Believe in us, we'll give you money, we'll give you freedom and everything. The guy says, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. I don't care what happens to me. Right? I could have asked a million questions because, listen, maybe this guy's right. I mean, they do believe in God, right? And they are powerful, and, they are religious people, and maybe they're right. Could be they're right. I mean, on the other hand, the Jewish people, we've been knocked down and killed and raped and murdered and stolen from, kicked out of countries. All we get is troubles for this. What do I need this? Maybe who says our God is right? Oh, you can have a million questions, right? All of a sudden, and not only that, why should I die? I'll just say a couple words, right? I believe in you guys. I'll kiss this thing, and then I'll live, and I'll be alive. I can do what I want. I have a family, a wife, children waiting for me. I have money at home. Maybe I can run away. All these thoughts run through his mind. Suddenly he says, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And that second, he's not thinking about anything. I am a Jew. Oh, self-sacrifice. There's self-sacrifice. It's a tremendous self-sacrifice. Says those same people, but what does it mean self-sacrifice? He came to self-sacrifice. This was another part of his personality. The person is willing, he's willing to throw everything away and sacrifice his life for God. But when he doesn't have to sacrifice his life for God, then he's not willing. He's not willing. What? It says, some people are like this, we see. In Chabad Hasidim. Shebihiyotam, that when they were. B'makom, in a place. Shahayu sham, that there were there. Gezeros, decrees. Prohibitions. Al-an. Torah and mitzvahs. Haya, there was lahem to them. Mesirut nefesh, there was for them self-sacrifice, but poil actually. Meshech, the course, kama v'kama shani, many years. There were Hasidim of the previous Rebbe, they risked their lives just to make to circumcise a child. Just to teach children Torah. Every day they sacrificed their lives. For years, they didn't have what to eat, and it was cold, and they didn't have where to live, and their families were in danger, and everything, but they still had a secret synagogue somewhere, or a secret mikveh